A high-profile, controversial lawyer with links to the Cape Town underworld is gunned down outside his children's school in Cape Town's Greenpoint area. A hit ordered for 1 million rands. This is the story of Pete Mihalik. Let's get into it. Let me start this one with a disclaimer. The story today involves the Cape Town underworld. If you are a regular viewer or subscriber of this channel, but you may not necessarily be interested in the Cape Town underworld stories, just know that I haven't completely switched styles. Once in a while, I do create Cape Town underworld videos, but there are still many other videos coming up and those that are already on the channel that you can still enjoy. So Pete Mihalik was a 50-year-old renowned Cape Town lawyer. Earlier in his career, he had been a prosecutor putting criminals away. However, later he became a renowned criminal defense lawyer. He was a father of 2 young children who in 2018, when their father was killed, were 17 and 8. His daughter was 17 and his son was 8 years old. 3 years prior to that, in 2015, Mihalik's wife had taken her own life after 24 years of marriage. Mihalik had also previously lost his own mother when he was much younger. His mother consumed poison and took her life when she was 38. And years later, his sister suffered the same fate when she jumped from a building, also at the age of 38. So as you can imagine, he was raising his children alone without any of the motherly figures that should have been there to assist him with this role. In his career, however, Mihalik was very successful. When he was gunned down, for example, he was driving the latest Mercedes-Benz GLE 63, which was worth 2.3 million rands in 2018. He also owned an apartment on Beach Road in Muley Point, an affluent suburb in Cape Town, where, according to information obtained from the deeds office, this apartment was actually worth 11 million rands in 2018. He had bought it in 2015. It's not clear if he lived in that apartment or if he had other uses for it, but he also owned several other properties in Cape Town, including one in Khayelitsha and another one in Greenpoint and several others. Mihalik represented many high-profile clients. One of his clients, just before he was murdered, was property mogul Jason Rode, who had murdered his wife and staged it as a suicide. And let me know if you would like me to make a video on the story of Jason Rode and his wife, whom he murdered and made it look like a suicide. Outside of defending individual clients like Jason Rode, Mihalik was also known for defending some of the most feared characters in the Cape Town underworld and tackling some of the toughest, bloodiest, and most controversial cases before Cape Town courts. This includes previously representing alleged 28 gang boss Ralph Steinfeld and another gang leader linked to Sexy Boys gang, Colin Boyson. In previous videos, I've talked about both Ralph Steinfeld and Colin Boyson. I believe this is on the video on Who Killed Mark Liffman. There's an entire playlist on the Cape Town Underworld. If you are interested in Cape Town Underworld videos, I've made videos that you can find in that playlist. So he had represented Ralph Steinfeld, alleged 28 gang boss, as well as Colin Boyson, alleged Sexy Boys gang leader, who is also the brother of Jerome Donkey Boyson, whom I also talk about in previous videos. A notorious figure, allegedly. At the time of his murder, Mihalik was representing one of the most notorious, most feared alleged underworld figures, Nafis Modak, who was recently on trial for several murders and other major crimes. I also talk about Nafis Modak extensively in my videos on the assassination of Lieutenant Colonel Shal Kinnear, as well as the video on the assassination of former Hawks detective's father. Now let's get to the assassination of Pete Mihalik. On the 30th of October 2018, early in the morning at around 7:35, Mihalik was doing what is supposed to be a routine school drop-off when the unimaginable occurred. Pulling up outside prestigious Redham House Private School in Greenpoint, two gunmen approached his Mercedes-Benz, seemingly from out of nowhere, and fired two shots through the driver's door window. The gunmen fled the scene in a silver VW Polo, driven by an accomplice. Both shots would hit Mihalik, killing him instantly. On exit, one of the bullets would shoot Mihalik's 8-year-old son in the jaw, nearly killing him. He survived after surgery, but the bullet that killed his father remains lodged near his spine, as it was too risky to remove. Mihalik's 17-year-old daughter was fortunately unharmed in the crime. Police quickly identified 3 suspects from CCTV in the area, as well as using facial recognition software to analyze images from the CCTV. The suspects were taxi owner Vuile Maliti, 40, Sizwe Biela, 31, who was a warehouse worker and later turned gold dealer, and Nkosinathi Khumalo, 35, who was a taxi driver. Biela and Khumalo had in fact traveled all the way from KZN, where they lived, to Cape Town, where they claimed to be there on business or on a gold deal. In reality, they were there for the hit. According to prosecutors, Khumalo was a known Inkabi, or hitman from Durban, and had meticulously planned the hit. A be on the lookout order was quickly issued, and by sundown of the same day, police had arrested Biela and Khumalo after they skipped a red traffic light when traffic cops were on the other side of the street, and they were stopped, and it was found that they were 2 suspects wanted for the murder that occurred that morning. Maliti, who lived in Cape Town, was informed by his wife very quickly after the murder that police had come to his house to look for him, and he went into hiding using a friend's house in Crossroads Township. His whereabouts were eventually uncovered when he took the VW Polo, the same VW Polo that they had used in the murder, which he had rented from Avis. He was taking the VW for penal beating. In court, he stated that he had bumped the car and was worried about paying Avis for damages. Therefore, he was taking it for penal beating, but it was not involved in a crime or anything like that. In actuality, we don't know why he was taking it there, what he wanted to hide, supposedly. And of course, he could not have done much about it because it wasn't his car. He still needed to return it. So he was tracked and arrested at the location of the penal beater. In court, Maliti claimed innocence, insisting he was meeting a client regarding Kruger rents in a spa parking lot during the murder. The trio pleaded not guilty, dismissing cell phone tower data, CCTV footage linking them to the crime, as well as other evidence that was shown in court. They said all of these were merely coincidences and they had nothing to do with the matter. But their defense was no match to the mounting evidence against them. Some reports have alleged that the price for this hit was 1 million rands, with Maliti, the mastermind behind the implementation, receiving 500,000 rands, while the other two each received 250,000 rands. All of this allegedly paid in gold through using Kruger Rand's gold coins. Each Kruger Rand coin is worth anything from 50,000 rands to much, much more, depending on the weight of the coin as well as the price of gold at that time. So it's not far-fetched that they could have paid 1 million rands in Kruger Rand coins. After a lengthy trial, the three were convicted in 2023 and sentenced to life in prison. However, the big question still remained: who had ordered the hit on Pete Mihalik? Rumors started swirling within the Cape Town underworld that spilled onto the public that the hit had been ordered by Jerome "Donkey" Boysen. If you watch the video I made on the hit on Mark Liffman, you will know that Mark Liffman, working together with Donkey, were rivals with Nafis Modak to rule the protection fee extortion business, among other shady dealings within the city, allegedly. It is alleged that Donkey ordered the hit because Mihalik was defending Nafis Modak, and knowing how powerful Mihalik was as a lawyer, to kill him would be to weaken the chances of Nafis Modak in many of his cases. And those who are making these allegations have argued that this is why, after the death of Mihalik, in April 2020, another top lawyer in Cape Town involved in the Cape Town underworld or representing alleged underworld figures, William Booth, had an attempt on his life. There was an attempted assassination that he survived. Now, the stories of the Cape Town underworld, it is such an intricate web that some of these stories may actually be confusing. Now, follow me along. It is alleged that Nafis Modak ordered the hit on William Booth because he thought William Booth was representing Donkey, and because Donkey had ordered the hit on his lawyer, Pete Mihalik, he was killing William Booth in retaliation. During Nafis Modak's trial, which just ended in December of 2024, this is part of the charges that he was facing. He has not yet, at the time of recording of this video, been found guilty. However, we know that one of the charges that he was tried for was the attempted assassination of William Booth. However, actually, when William Booth testified in court, he indicated that at the time, he was not even actually, at the time that he was nearly assassinated and survived an assassination attempt, he was not actually representing Donkey. I mean, he had represented Donkey before. He had also represented Mark Liffman, who was buddy with Jerome Donkey Boysen, all the way up to Mark Liffman's death. William Booth was still representing him in court in cases where Jerome Donkey Boysen and Mark Liffman were tried together. But he says he was not representing Donkey. Therefore, if all of this is true, he was nearly killed because of the assumption made by, allegedly, Nafis Modak. Others have argued that Mihalik was trying to intervene in turf wars between Nafis Modak and the faction of Donkey and Leafman. He was interfering rather than representing them in court. It has been alleged by different news sources that indeed Mihalik had been trying to be the go-between and to try and find a way of making peace between one criminal faction and another. Others have also even alleged that Mihalik's involvement in the in the Cape Town criminal underworld was more than that of a lawyer representing them in court, which is a constitutional right, as we know. So it's more than that, criminals also need attorneys. So he was representing them. It was that he was involved in their shady dealings as a go-between, not to intervene, but working out deals that the criminals were making. And he may have had to go for that reason, which they claimed explains his wealth. Mihalik's father has also said that he believes that his son was killed because of payment issues with some of his clients who understandably were very, very dangerous individuals. And these are the theories on who may have killed Cape Town top lawyer Pete Mihalik. What are your thoughts on this story? Such an intricate web of criminality. Share your thoughts in the comment section, which always generates such interesting debates. Thank you. Please remember to like this video and consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't yet. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you in the next video.